Hello everyone, welcome. I'm going to be using some gorgeous new cutting dies in today's video, and I'm going to be creating 3 cards using these. So Simon Hurley and Spellbinders has collaborated again, and they have come up with some gorgeous new products. This isn't the whole collection, but I have these on my desk, and I'm going to be playing with these today. So let me give you a close-up look. This first set is called Ceramic Vases. There is something so adorable about little vases that you can put on the fronts of your cards. And these are exceptional because they have little patterns that you can emboss into them if you'd like. You can just use the outline piece, or you can use it with the embossed piece as well. Next up is Zigzag Chevron. It reminds me of Simon Hurley's Diagonal Stripes cover plate. But of course, in this one, you get the gorgeous zigzag chevron. Let me show you this on an A2 sized panel. So you will have a little bit of a border around the edges when you use this. This will create some really fun texture and interest for your cards. And last, I have the daffodil frame. This is so adorable. I love this for my springtime cards. So it's a small frame. It's going to fit perfectly on an A2 sized card. However, today I'm going to create a mini slimline card with this. Here's the card base for it. It just fits perfectly on that. And then it is a layering die, so you have the pieces to put on top of the daffodils, like the stems and the flowers, and then the insides of the flowers. And there are a few other products in this release. The one I'm going to be purchasing today is called Floral Stems, which is another layering set. But I'll have all of the links listed for you in the description box. So here is the daffodil frame. And now I'm going to start building up on this. So first I'll put down the greenery at the bottom, the stems. And I'm putting the glue right on the frame, and then I can just cover it up with the coordinating die cut. So I cut it out with rainforest green, and I'm using some fern green on top of that. Next, I'll put the flowers down, and you know exactly where to put them because the markings on the frame are the exact same markings on the little flowers. And now for the centers, and I cut the centers out with an orange. It's very quick and easy to put together, and yet it creates such beautiful results. I'll pop this last one in place. And then I'm going to find some pattern paper to put behind this frame, but here is a close-up look at that. So I pulled out some old pattern paper that I've had in my stash from Spellbinders. This happens to be a Christmas pad, but I found this black card pattern paper that I want to use. It's black with white stripes. And I'm going to use the coordinating die to cut out this panel. So let's put this card together. I'm putting it down another piece of rainforest cardstock onto the card base. This is a really super fast card to create. And now I can attach the daffodil frame to the black pattern paper. I'll put glue around the perimeter and then little dabs and dots behind the flowers and stems. I think it looks so stunning with this black pattern paper behind it. The sentiment I'm going to use is a puffy sticker from last month's card kit of the month, from April's, and it just fits perfectly under the little frame. So I'll put that down at the bottom, and then I can add a little glue behind the daffodil frame and attach that. To add a little more interest, I added some glitter pen over the centers of the daffodils, and here it is all done. The sentiment says, "The little moments." So this is kind of like a note card that you can send out anytime. On card number 2, I cut out the beautiful chevron with some peach sorbet cardstock, and I'm going to attach that to another piece of the peach sorbet. So it's kind of a tone-on-tone card I'm creating. I wasn't quite sure how to attach the frame. This time I'm going to use liquid glue around the whole perimeter. It can take time going over each and every zigzag, so I'm just doing a little bit of selective gluing for the center of this. And then I can attach it onto the piece of peach sorbet cardstock. Some of the zigzags did not want to stay down, so I did a little more selective gluing after the fact. And then you get these cute zigzag pieces, which I saved because they are so cute. And I'm going to add a little bit of orange Distress Oxide ink over some of them. So I cut out one of the vases with some brushed white cardstock. And this stem comes from an older die set called Sealed Botanical Sprigs. And I'll attach this to the vase. I did use the texture die for this vase, but it's just kind of hard to catch on camera. Now I can attach the flowers to the sprig. And I'm just going to use little dabs of glue behind them, and then just pick up the orange flower with the stem. Please excuse my voice. I'm still suffering from spring allergies. I'll pop the zigzags in place. I'll put the smaller zigzag above it. This adds some really fun interest to the card. And then my vase and flowers, I'm going to pop up with some foam squares. The brushed white cardstock really adds a pretty touch of sparkle. And then the sentiment is going to say, "Sending love." And it comes from the Thanks Enclosed sentiment dies. I didn't use the shadow die behind them. For a finishing touch, I'm adding some oyster pearls around this panel. They really coordinate well with the color of the vase. And that's all there is to this card. It came together quite quickly, and here is a close-up look. You can kind of see the texture on the vase when I turn it just right. Before I get into card number 3, let me show you all of the vases cut out with the texture dies as well. So this is with brushed gold cardstock, and then I used some fruit punch. Aren't those flowers beautiful on that vase? And then this is some terracotta cardstock. It has little diamonds on the bottom of it. And I believe this is phone booth cardstock. But I love all of the shapes and sizes of these vases. And then this is the vase I'm going to be using on my third card. It's kind of hard to see the texture on this one. So I cut out the zigzag chevron with some gray cardstock. And then to add a little more interest to the vase, I'm going to add some Distress Oxide ink in a darker yellow, kind of an orangey yellow, on the sides. This is called Wild Honey. To attach my chevron die cut this time, I'm going to do something super quick and easy. So I'm just putting glue on a piece of scrap paper, and I'm trying to fit it to the size of the chevron die cut. I'll go both ways, and then I'm just going to slap it over the glue and pick up the glue with this die cut, and then put it on my card base. And this worked very effectively. None of my pieces were popping up. You could, of course, use a score tape sheet behind the die, but sometimes I find that gets kind of gummy. So the glue on the piece of scrap paper worked out really well for me. Next, I can attach some greenery in this vase. And then I'll put a little teal piece in the front. The sentiment is going to say hugs. And this sentiment comes from the Everyday Sentiments from Simon Hurley. I'll attach it to the shadow piece, and then I can pop this up with some foam squares as well. I'll tuck that next to the vase, And then I'm going to add a few smooth gold discs around the panel. And here it is all done. All of these cards came together really quickly. And like I said, I'll have the links listed for you in the description box if you're interested in checking these out. These are some really fun, crafty goodies. Thanks for watching, everyone, and thanks for putting up with my scratchy voice. Until next time, bye.